I'll let you take it away.
Thank y'all for coming out. Before we start, I do want to announce that next Tuesday night, we're going to invite all the students out to practice. It could be a good event. We'll bring them out for the second half of the practice. They can get in with a student ID. Pete will have all the details on all that sort of stuff, which I think we'll release later on. We'll even let you all come too if you'd like.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome. But it should be a fun event, so we're planning on that on Tuesday. Should be a fun evening. We had a good scrimmage on Saturday morning. And both sides competed. There was good give and take on both sides of the football. Big plays made on both sides of the ball. We're still, again, heavily in the developmental stages of our younger personnel. Kind of echo the sentiment I had a week ago about our older players. Been really pleased with those guys. Some of our younger guys we've got to continue to develop to play at a consistent level. The same would be true for the quarterback situation. Gerard and Brendan took most of the reps with the ones. And at times were really efficient. At times could have been a lot better. So those two guys have kind of leapt ahead a little bit in terms of where we're at. Doesn't mean that any decisions have been made, far from it. But starting today, that's kind of how we'll handle those guys handling a majority of the reps of the ones. It doesn't mean those other three guys are done or redshirting or anything like that. We're in the infancy of it, but through 9 practices, that's where we feel like those guys are at. So.
What have you seen from Deshaun McLeese, and what are his strong suits?
He's a shifty, speedy back. I think it's got some unique skills. I like the way he's approached spring ball. I like having, just in general terms, I like having a variety of different tailbacks. I don't like them all to look the same. I like having a big guy and a small guy and guys that can motion out and play in the slot, and guys that are big that you don't want to do that with and that sort of stuff. And McLeese certainly fills one of those roles. He's a smaller, speedier, shifty back that still runs the ball inside. You know, it's not like he can't run between the tackles.
Is he a guy who could develop into a every down back, or do you see him as a change of pace kind of package guy?
I think anything's possible. We've got some competition going on there. I would say that spot is wide open. I mean, Sam Rogers has been fantastic, but other than that, all of those other guys are up in the air as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know if he'll end up being an every down guy, but I know he's out there competing for playing time.
I'm sure it probably depends on personnel, but are you somebody who likes to split carries from your running backs, or have one guy that's sort of a featured back?
Yeah, I don't go into it with any preconceived notion. I mean, obviously, if you've got one guy and he's 10 shoulders above everybody else, and that's where you go. Historically, from my time at TCU to my time at Memphis, when we got to be pretty decent. When we first started out, we were just trying to find somebody to carry the ball. But when we got to be pretty decent at both places, at TCU, at Memphis, we've played with numerous people. I believe in that. I believe in trying to get people involved in the game, whether it's wideouts or tight ends or running backs. I think everybody practices better. I think just overall continuity is better. But you have to earn that. You have to earn that playing time. We don't just play guys just to play.
You said at the beginning of the spring that you were going to install the offense slowly. Have you been able to go at the pace you wanted to go in?
In terms of installation?
Yes.
It's been pretty slow. I'm hopeful that in the fall, when we start fall camp, we'll be able to install a little bit quicker, just so because there'll be hopefully some carryover. But the kids are picking it up and beginning to execute at a little bit higher level. So, but it's been pretty slow.
The impact on you wouldn't be that great, but the decision about satellite camps, do you have a reaction, an opinion on that?
I'm happy that the ACC's in line with everybody else. That was my biggest thing, was I just felt like whatever it was, whatever we all decided, or they decided, I guess I should say, I wanted it to be all in line. So one way or the other, I'm not gonna jump up on the soapbox about that, about satellite camps. Text messages, that's another story, but satellite, I'm just glad we're in line.
So what is your opinion on the texting?
I don't understand why we passed that. The coaches have been against it. The premise behind using direct message was that the prospect gave his permission for you to contact them. Now there is no shut-off valve with text messaging. My understanding was we were all in line with that, and that's how we handled it a year ago, and then you read in the newspaper that it's been changed.
How have the three freshmen looked at wide receiver, and have any of them stood out to you this spring?
They've looked like freshmen. I really like their attitudes. I like their work ethics. I think they're highly intelligent kids. Got some development to do. I would say Divine is maybe just a little bit further along just because he's a bigger, stronger kid. But I like them. I like the way they're going. But it's good that they came in at semester, and it's good that they're going to have spring and then the summer, and then 2-a-days to get ready to help give us some depth.
You obviously like the way Coach Shebas went around doing special teams in Memphis to bring him along here. What do you like so much about the way he approaches that?
The attention to detail, incredibly fundamentally oriented. I mean, we drill fundamentals in the special teams is more than any place I've ever been in terms of Coach Shebas and his teaching progression. I think it's fantastic. And I think it manifests itself on giving us the best chance on Saturdays. It doesn't mean that nothing bad ever happens. Those things happen sometimes, but getting our kids fundamentally sound and believing in what they're doing, I don't think there's anybody better than Coach Shebas.
I know he coordinates it. Does every coach on the staff have a responsibility in special teams?
Yeah, we're all involved.
Are you a guy who will put starters on special teams?
Absolutely.
And why is that?
Huge part of the game.
How's this new virtual reality technology benefiting you guys?
Well, it's interesting. We're continuing to build our library of film. So when we go out there and practice, we're continuing to gather data, film, so that in the summertime we can group them all together by plays, and then quarterbacks or linebackers or whatever position group can then put it on and take some mental reps. I think it's a really neat system. I think it's going to be beneficial, maybe as much for the guy that did not take the rep as anything else. I think it's a pretty unique way to get mental reps when you're not out there. So, like I said, we're in the process. You've got to kind of build your library up in order to fully utilize it. But I'm looking forward to getting it all put together for the summertime and into the fall.
Hey, Coach, talk a little bit about Devin Wilson, on the basketball team now coming to play football. Talk about him being on the team.
He doesn't say a word and just works his tail off. I mean, every day he shows up and jumps right in there, and certainly the situation's not too big for him. He wasn't timid at all, and he's working diligently to get caught up mentally with what we're doing, and kind of see how it goes. But he's done really well. We love having him out there. He's doing a good job, and I'm looking forward to continuing to watch him progress.
Concerning the quarterback update, just because from our understanding you started at a pretty level playing field, has anything surprised you about how it's turned out so far that kind of Evans and Motley turned out to be the two kind of veteran guys?
Oh, I don't know. I tried not to go into it with any preconceived notion. I like the three younger guys. I think they're working diligently to improve. I like the way they're going about their business, their demeanor. So there haven't been any real big surprises, but I didn't go into it thinking it would go one way or another.
Jack Click is a local guy for Richmond. What's he like personality-wise? What does he bring to that room?
Great demeanor, incredibly competitive. He's a very good athlete, big, strong kid. Incredibly happy that he's here. I think he has a chance to develop and work himself and to give him a chance to be a good player.
I know Bud mentioned one of the big goals for the spring was to develop some depth, especially at linebacker and in the secondary. How hard has that been at cornerback to get a read on things with Brandon out and Ladler out and those those guys. It's tougher to
Well, it's
develop.
it's part of our young development. I mean, we've got to find, the schedule's printed, the tickets are going out, I mean, we've got to find guys to play. That's the bottom line. You all, along with everybody else, don't really care if people are out or whatever. We got to find a way to get the job done. So that's what we're out there practicing right now, trying to make sure we can get those other guys ready to play.
All right, questions for Coach?
Coach was telling us that he's not opposed to putting frontline, starters on special teams, and that's something that, we've seen through college football over the years. Why do you think that's important?
Well, I mean, we're not ever going to sacrifice, people unless they're ready to go play in open space. The thing about special teams is you're dealing with a lot of open space with a lot of field out there to cover. So it takes good athletes, and hopefully you got a core of 6 to 8 good backup guys that can do that. But the thing that we always try to do is get the best personnel out there that we possibly can. It's going to win or lose you games, and you got to try to get the best. But we try to add some mixture in it too in some areas to get, some guys that maybe that's their only role. They're not a backup on offense or defense, but I think it builds great team chemistry with everything to find 2 or 3 guys like that also. Just depends where you're putting everybody. But we're going to put the best personnel we possibly can out there.
When you come into a new place like this, how do you go about teaching how you want to do things? Is it very fundamental oriented this spring?
Yeah, it's coming along very slow right now. It's just because everything is new, and obviously what Coach Beamer has done here has helped us tremendously in the fact that these guys know that this aspect is very important. You can just tell how attentive they are in meetings, and then their effort on the field, going through drill work. But it's different. I mean, it's scheme-wise and our drill-wise are all different, so we're trying to get all that taught, so when we get into fall, we're moving a lot quicker and we can continue to get better. I know this week we're doing some good on good, which is we'll put speed out there on the field so we can get a great evaluation, number one. So when our personnel is put together this summer, hopefully we got it pretty close to what it'll be for the fall.
Coach Fuente was talking about how much time you guys spend on special teams in practice. Are there a certain number of periods that you devote to special teams each practice?
Well, it's never enough for me, so I'm always begging for extra time. But he does a great job emphasizing it, and it just varies. It can be some days from 10 minutes to 20 minutes. It just depends. So, but we're going to spend the time. I tell you where we spend the most amount of time is in fall camp. We're giving a lot more time, a lot more walkthroughs for teaching and prepping these guys. As the season gets on, we got time restraints, so it's always tough, But meeting time and all that, we're going to put enough time to make sure we have a chance to go out and be good.
You mentioned it's a different schedule than it would be for offense or defense in terms of installation. Can you give us an idea of, do you do kick return, punt return, cover? Are there certain units you haven't even touched yet? Or
yeah, we've hit all of them, and right now is what we're trying to do is get our base drills and trying to get the fundamentals taught. I mean, we do very little full group stuff, and really do very little full group stuff. In the fall, it's all a progression of the drills that just kind of build to the one play. Now, obviously, we do full group stuff, but we're just a big believer. If you got to teach them the fundamentals and what you got to do. You just can't throw them out there and do full group work, without the teaching part of it. And the great thing is, and what we always look for is, on game day, them teaching things is what you see. You know what I'm saying? As far as that drill work, you want to make sure the drills are realistic and what really happens. And I think we do a good job studying that in the off season. We've had to add a lot of drills, just to help these guys, put tools in their toolbox to go out and be successful. So.
The scrimmage on Saturday, what did you like, not like, what did you see?
I think we've made some improvement.
obviously when we talked before, we were young at defensive end. Tim Settle, we talked about him, and Ricky Walker, and those two guys I'm seeing really big improvement. You see Trayvon Hill taking strides. Hushawn Gaines is taking strides and making, I'm excited about those guys. I think they kind of took a step and probably ahead of after Ken and Vinny Mahota. Really was Trayvon Hill's got a chance to be dynamic, really. I like, very explosive, very instinctive, still learning, but shows some flashes of really being a dynamic football player. So really excited about him. The guy in the back end that really is sticking out right now to me and having a great spring ball is Terrell Edmonds. He's playing our rover spot and just very active, very physical. I've been real pleased with that move. And those guys, him, Chuck Clark, they're solid. Greg Stroman, like I said, has done very, very well. Adonis has continued to get better. Adonis was actually having an outstanding scrimmage the other day. And, we just don't have any depth right now, in particular with Faison being out. At linebacker, Matua Puaka has been out with a couple with his calf muscle and things, and he played for the first time and was a little rusty. I like where Tremaine Edmonds is progressing. He's not there yet, but at the same time, I'm really excited about his future too. So that's kind of where we are. The young linebackers behind him. I thought we made some improvement, but we've got to be consistently good. And it was kind of the whole scrimmage right there, probably on both sides of the ball, is just you saw some good things, but we've got to be consistent in what we do in our execution and that was probably the takeaway. But I tell you, the effort was good. We scrimmaged indoors, which you guys know in the past we've always had a crowd there, which kind of jacks the kids up. So it was just us and the walls in there, but I liked how we competed against one another.
Well, we'll come out if you want us to.
What's that?
We'll come out next scrimmage if you want.
Yeah, you guys are. Yeah, you got to talk to the boss. So. The next big one's going to be a spring game, I guess. We'll have one this coming Saturday, but which will be a big one, obviously, as well. But looking forward to the guys competing. I mean, they're doing that. They're working hard. The tempo of the offense is. I know Andy, you wrote something about it. I mean, it really is. It's makes us work. It makes our kids think and obviously offensively too, but it's good for us at the end of the day that that tempo. And I saw where I think we were ranked, our Memphis was 18th in the country in number of plays and tempo and all those kind of things, and that's good for us in that preparation and not just from a mental and physical, but just let's get ready to go and and be able to sustain playing a number of plays and that type of thing at enough tempo.
How much has that hamstrung you, cornerback, not having Faison and Ladler and guys like that to sort of develop some depth and figure out who you have back there?
Yeah, I mean, you have an idea about Brandon, but at the same time, he's been nicked up. He needs to get out there because we're doing a couple things. I mean, a little bit. Not that we're doing anything differently, but we're playing a little bit more zone coverage probably. Ladler's a guy you would just like to see. Period. I mean, I've seen him on high school film, but I'd like to see him out there now. He's going through walkthroughs and those type of things, but it's still different than doing it full speed and where you're tying in your mind and your feet together. And he's a guy that I'm hoping can figure in. We'll see. He'll have to catch up a lot this summer, so we'll have some opportunities to be able to do that.
What's his
And questions for Coach?
What's the adjustment been like moving the running backs, Coach?
Not that big of an adjustment. I've previously coached DBs and went to wide receivers and back to DBs and back to wide receivers. So Transition hasn't been that difficult. One thing I like is the staff that we have. Coach Fuente and Coach Cornelson, they're making it tremendously easy for me. And those guys have a lot of experience coaching different positions as well. I believe Coach Fuente used to coach the running backs as well early in his career. So, and then, Holman Wiggins played running back. So there's some guys in the room where you can bump ideas off of, and we are gelling well together, and it's making it a whole lot easier for me.
How does Deshaun McLeese look? What have you seen from him? What do you like?
He looks good. All those guys are competing right now. Every day in and day out is a competition. So he's getting as many reps as the next guy, which is every single day. He's just out there just battling day in and day out, just competing.
Coach Fuente said he likes when the backs have different skill sets, so it's not, you got some different. What is McLeese's sort of skill set? What does he bring to the group?
I would call it he can go out wide, you can send him in motion. He's just a guy in space that can give defenses some trouble. So he's a speedy guy and smart kid out there. You can catch the ball at the backfield. So he brings that kind of element to the offense.
Benefit a lot from last season and, not going and where he's at now?
I think so. He was able to put some weight on in the weight room, study film over the offseason, and just take time out in the classroom as well just to get better on and off the field. And I think the sky's the limit for him right now.
Has Shy had any setbacks, or is he full speed ahead still?
Shy's full speed ahead right now. So he's doing well. He's competing hard. And he's feeling good.
Does he look all right? I mean, has he lost weight? From what it sounds like, from what we've heard, he lost some weight.
He's trimmed down. He looks good. His body looks good. He's confident. So it looks like, from what I've seen a couple years ago, he looks very similar to that guy right now.
What is your approach with Trayvon this spring? Because obviously a guy who did it last year, I would imagine you don't want to run him into the ground or anything in the spring.
Yeah, but Trayvon is a competitor, and he understands that it's not about last year, it's about right now. It's about moving forward and getting better and working his butt off and competing every day. Because like I said, it's a competition. He's got to earn everything, with me as a new position coach, but also the new offensive staff. So it's more about him just getting out there and proving himself every single day that he can be the best he can be.
He obviously had a great breakout season last year. Where do you want to see him get better specifically?
Things that he's trying to improve on right now is just pass protection, just toughness in between the tackles, and just overall learning the game of football, increasing his knowledge of the game. Those are the kind of things he needs to work on.
Is he your number one back, or do you not look at it at that point in the spring?
Right now, everybody's getting the same amount of reps. They're all competing. You got Sam Rogers in there at tailback, Stephen Peoples in there getting carries. So everybody's getting their chance to run with the first group, and we're going to see at the end of the spring who's the top guy.
How much has Marshawn done this spring? Not too much.
No, Marshawn, he's just in meetings, working out. He's in practice, but he's not. He's no contact right now.
I know, being on the team, you probably heard all the stories about Sam and his work ethic at running back. Is it different now that you get to see it up close? Do you have a greater appreciation for that?
I do. Just meeting with him, and I have about 4 or 5 meetings a day because Sam comes by. If there's one meeting, I know I got 4 more, but Sam's gonna come by. And, that's a good thing. You want that, but you always, you can see out of my office, you can see the football field. From my office, you can see the practice field, and you always see him out there at times where everybody else is not out there. He's out there, so it's been good to be able to see that up close and personal.
What is kind of the role for the fullback in this offense? I mean, I know you mentioned they can do some tailback type things. Where does the fullback fit into this whole thing?
Fullback brings an element of pass blocking, extra guy protection, getting out in the backfield, but also carrying the ball as well. So it just brings another value in the offense that the defense have to worry about in all phases, in all ways.
Is Sam
Your cornerback again.
Yes, sir.
How did that discussion go in the offseason? I know they kind of had you go between both last year. Do you go to them? Do they go to you?
I mean, coach just comes to me and tells me what he needs me to do and what he wanted me to do. And I talked to Coach Mitchell, and Coach Mitchell was like, "You're going to be a proponent." So that's how the spring started.
Are you okay with that? I mean,
yes, definitely fine with it. Fine with whatever Coach needs.
Has this spring been any different for you at quarterback, just with another year under your belt and base of knowledge and at the position and all that? Or
yes, experience helps. Experience helps a lot. I mean, just knowing the defense real in depth. So I mean, it helps a lot.
What is it like with Coach Mitchell? It seems like splitting up the safeties and the cornerbacks back there, you get a lot of one-on-one attention, I would imagine.
Oh, definitely. It's less of us, and I mean, it's a little different, splitting the safeties and corners up. But I mean, we're handling it pretty well, and I mean, it's pretty cool to be. Meetings go a little bit faster with less people, so it's like you're focused on a little bit more.
How would you describe his coaching style?
Oh, he's tough. He's a tough coach. I mean, he's into it, and he wants you to compete every day.
With the lack of depth you guys have at the cornerback spot this spring, anyway, right now, I mean, are you spending more time on the field this spring than you thought you might at that position? I mean, obviously, if you're working with the ones, you're gonna spend a lot of time out there, but is it more involved than you thought?
No. I mean, I think it's the same reps that I would have got.
What's Coach Shibas like to work with when you're doing special team stuff?
Oh, I mean, he's intense. He's intense, and we really like that. And I mean, he's just on me about making sure I do my job and everybody else does theirs, and it's cool.
He seems pretty excited about what you can do as a punt returner. Does that come through in your conversations? Does it seem like he has pretty high expectations?
Oh, I mean, every day he sees me, he just give me that look, strobe, and I know what it means.
What does working with maybe a little bit of a philosophical shift to playing a little bit more zone mean to you?
I don't think it'll be any different to me. I mean, it's no difference. Just playing football.
Where they have you playing and the role they have you playing right now?
It's basically the same role. You know, being that I came back fifth year senior this year, it's kind of a bigger role. And being that we have a change in the coaching staff, you know, a lot of the younger kids look towards the fifth year seniors for support and stuff like that. So I think the role is big, but no, we can't handle it.
Was that a decision? Were you considering not playing your last year? Or
No. I never.
You always
thought
knew you
about
wanted?
Yeah, stay here.
I think Coach Foster described it as you can start having a new lease on life on the back end. Does it feel different this spring? Does it feel like you're closer to being on the field and making a big contribution?
Yeah, I do. I think it's the same defense. It's just we learning within two different coaches. That's all.
Foster mentioned that you guys might be playing more zone this year, and he said that will benefit you. Do you think that that's accurate?
I think it would benefit all of us. You know, playing a lot of man-to-man, you depend on the defensive line a lot more. Playing zone, they depend on us. So I think it's equal, and we depend on.
How would you describe Coach Scott's coaching style?
Him and T. Gray the same, basically. They expect a lot out of you, and if you don't give it, you know, they get after you. That's any coach, though.
Coach said that he was impressed by your high school tape of you being a big hitter. What do you remember about that? Did you have that reputation in high school?
I think when I got one of my first offers, I broke a helmet or something like that, but that was then.
Yours or the opponents?
Both helmets.
Do you still have that helmet?
Yeah, my mama got it actually.
Oh, okay.
On display or?
Yeah, just on display.
You broke the helmet in the game, or just because you were so happy you broke the helmet? Like,
Nah, it was in the game.
Gotcha. Okay.
Who gave you that offer?
I think UVA came first, but Tech offered me first.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You kind of grew into that kick return role last year. Is that something that's just kind of natural for you? Do you always had a knack for that? And how much do you enjoy doing it?
I think that's probably the funnest thing. You get to start off, and so I do got a knack for it. It just came natural, and once I grew into it, it was, you know, fun. Once they blocked.
You played quarterback in high school, so you were kind of used to having the ball in your hands. Does that help you on the kickoff returns?
Yeah, used to running in high school.
What's Coach Shibas like to work with? He seems like an interesting dude.
Always amped up. Probably one of the loudest coaches we got right now. He just comes with full of energy, and we try to feed off that, you know.
You were really close with Trey, and now with him being gone, how is that different? You're still in touch with him all the time, or?
Yeah, we talk all the time. Trey, he always be a Hokie. You know, he just made a decision to go play elsewhere, but he got his degree from here, so he always be a Hokie.
What do you guys get in the secondary from Chuck Clark? And he's another guy who's been in the system.
Yeah, another veteran. He just brings that leadership that we need for the team in general, and you know, he's a big time player too, so.
This defensive tackle is suddenly a deep position for this team. What's it like practicing and competing?
Every day is a pretty big competition, from individual periods to the varsity periods where we're all competing together. Everybody's kind of pushing each other in the film room, and we're all trying to make each other better. So when we get to the season, we can trust each other when we rotate in, rotate out, that there won't be any slack off. So just keep pushing each other and making us all one big unit. I guess all of us all starters, I guess. And just keep pushing each other and make each other better.
Tim Settle told us that he'll lean over to you in the film room and whisper questions when he doesn't know something. Do you like having that role now, being the guy people might kind of look to?
I remember my freshman year, I used to lean on Skip and Luther Matty, and I'm just glad I can relay that on to Tim as well. I remember coming in here a couple Saturdays in the field house, just me and Tim and Woody and Kenny Canham coming to kind of just go over plays, some of the terminology, because with Coach Wiles and Bud returning, it's all kind of the same terminology and stuff. So not much changed, and being able to help him, help some other younger guys pick up some of those things will only make us better in the long run.
What have you seen from those younger guys this spring?
I can honestly say every day they've gotten better, and that kind of goes over as the whole defense. We all pick up off of each other, and each day we come out here and we watch film from the previous day and get better and build up off of that. So just continually progressing and just keep pushing together.
How much has dropping weight helped Tim in particular?
I've noticed that he's gotten a lot faster, and he's able to handle a lot more snaps throughout practice, and it's only helping him out, getting a better chance to get on the field. And Tim was already a really good athlete before, and him losing weight has only helped him out even more.
You had a pretty big role a couple of years ago when a lot of guys were injured, and then that sort of took a step back last year when they came back. How is it different this year, and how eager are you to get back out there and maybe get some more reps?
Kind of regressing a little bit last year as opposed to 2 years ago. Kind of seeing that role change, but understanding that Luther was back and healthy. I kind of take that in and just kept preparing every day as if that could be my day to play and start that game again. Because this game has a lot of adversity, and you gotta know that at any moment you could be that guy. And Bud reiterates that every day. And so I just go out here and prepare every day like today's gonna be my day. And just keep getting better and just ready to execute and lead the guys out there.
How do you
Do you see in front of you this spring in terms of kind of moving up in the depth chart?
I see a huge opportunity. I came here to make a big impact on and off the field here at Tech, so I'm getting my opportunity.
Was it hard to not have that role last year, because you did come in pretty highly touted and all that?
It was kind of hard. But I knew my time was coming. At the end of the day, I just wanted to help the program get better.
What'd you get out of last year?
Competing. I learned that you have to come here and compete. Nothing is just going to be given to you. So.
Do you see yourself as a guy who could be a every down back? Do you see yourself as a guy who brings a different style of play? How do you view what you contribute?
I would say that I'm an every down back, and I'm different from all the other running backs. I feel like all the running backs are different. Like we all have our own attributes and different things to offer. So we're all still competing at the end of the day.
What's your skill set? What do you think you bring?
I would say I'm just elusive and fast, and I think pretty quick.
It sounds like Coach Fuente likes having that sort of diversity of running back, big guys, small guys, shifty guys.
Right.
Is that encouraging as a running back? Do you feel like there's going to be a role this year somewhere for you?
Of course. Yeah. It's very encouraging, actually. But like I said, every running back is pretty much different. So we can utilize everybody. You know what I'm saying?
How competitive do you think it is at the top, at the running back position, this spring and heading into the fall?
It's very competitive. So nobody has a solid spot yet. The coach lets that be known, that you have to compete every day, whether it's scrimmages, practices, in the classroom, everywhere.
I know you ran track at Oscar Smith. Are you running track at all here?
No, I'm not running track yet. I'm just focusing on football.
Was there anybody you leaned on when you find out your red shirt and then to kind of give you advice? Was there a player who told you, hey, I did that, it's a good way to go, or anybody in particular?
I leaned on JC a lot. You know, we went to the same high school, so we've been having a pretty good relationship for a long time. So I leaned on him a lot when it came to a lot of things. Basically, he was basically my mentor.
How big was he in getting you here in the first place?
Well, he didn't. He played a big role. He played a big role. So, you know, like I said, I always looked up to him since I was a freshman in high school.
He had an interesting career arc here because
Right.
he'd be the top guy, and then he'd be the bottom guy, and then he'd be the top guy.
Right.
For you watching that, what did you think of kind of his career architect?
Just to be me, just to, you know, keep my confidence and always compete. You know, he stressed that a lot too. You have to compete at this level.
What was he like when you were breaking all his high school records? Did he take that well?
He did take it well. Every record I broke, he called me after every one. Congratulations, you know, just continue to get better and stay humble. You know, get ready to work for when you get to college, because it's a different ballgame, and it is.
He wasn't upset that his record didn't last very long? I mean,
nah, I didn't get that vibe from him.
It wasn't like you could have left me one record.
Yeah, right.
He didn't say much. He was very happy for me.
have you talked to Coach Morgan at all since he left for Georgia?
I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten the opportunity to talk
Well,
to him.
are you interested in catching up with him at all, or is it just kind of?
That would be cool. That would be fine.
Yeah.
Were you surprised by how big of an adjustment college football was?
Not really. Not really.
Coach mentioned that he could see you maybe splitting out wide and playing a lot towards the sidelines. Do you think that that'd be something that you would be open to, and do you think you'll be doing a lot of that this year?
I just want to get on the field. I just want to get on the field and be productive and help this team as much as I can.
What is Coach Burden like as a running backs coach?
Intense, very intense. He's fun to be around too, but at the same time he's serious and he wants us to compete all around. Just compete.
You doing any stuff on special teams, return-wise?
Yeah, I'm doing kick return, punt return.
Do you know Coach Burden from the recruiting process from before he got to you?
I did. I knew him.
Was he
at
ODU then?
Yes.
I'm guessing that was not on your list of where you're considering, but what do you remember about him in terms of recruiting?
I just remember he was a cool guy. You know, he still stood out to me, and I knew he was from where I'm from. So